sorrow. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what set me if it could flee. Me have to take away myself. Me have to take away myself. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Show the eye cleave where I ease. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play you, but soon you're gonna see the light of day.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. Today is Monday the 26th, and our special guest this morning is none other than Mrs. Marva Bernard, Mrs. Doris McIntosh, and also Mrs. Rene Baptiste. We will be linking up with these ladies, and we're going to be talking about, that devastation that happened in St Vincent. Yes, the volcano I'm talking about. And it's a special broadcast this morning for the St Vincent netballers. So stick and stay, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. I'm going to be getting flavors, and we'll be back in a minute. So ladies, I see you all in the conference room, so welcome. Sit tight. We'll be back in a minute.
Don't you feel the wind blowing? I can feel the chill, evil on the rise. Will you take that pill or stand firm in its will? Your money, your name will not be able to help you. No, no, no. Fame or lame won't be able to save you. You got to be covered under the blood of the Almighty. You got to be covered, 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 covered. You got to be covered, 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 covered under the blood of the Almighty. Covered under His blood. Nothing here is strange. Mankind is deranged. He said this in his word, or didn't you observe? Nation rise.
Yes, covered. Want to make sure that all our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent this morning are well covered. The music of Miss Tasha Williams. Flavius, are you there? Flavius, are you there with me, Flavius?
I am here.
Okay, I have a lot of ladies inside the chat room this morning. I can see Marva.
Right,
I see Rafina Paul, Bridget Adams. Who else is there?
yes.
Kunkel, Blaine. Everybody is there this morning. Morning, Marva. How you doing? Morning, Marva.
Sorry, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I see you bring a lot of ladies this morning.
You brought them, not me.
You bring down the house
They're
this
here
morning.
to support Doris and Rene in this venture.
That's
And
good.
of course, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Mm-hmm.
I must tell you, though, I'm really happy to be in this position today.
Okay.
Because the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is my friend, and he is my batchmate from the University of the West Indies in the Hall of Halls. So we have a group we call the Class of 69, and yesterday we sent him an email of support, and, everything is working to God's plan, because here am I today, a member of that class, getting you to do this for us as we support the netballers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are each other's brother and sister as we go through life. And so many times we fuss and fight over things that are so unimportant when, there are greater things happening that need our focused attention. So I'm happy to be here in this capacity as president and leveraging my friendship and doing this for Doris and for the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez, who is a member of the prestigious Class of 69. So, we are here in support of this today.
Here. Will the rest of the ladies introduce themselves? You can all unmute your mic. Let me unmute your mics for you so you can all introduce yourself.
Good morning. I am Sherry-Ann Blackburn from Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning, Sherry-Ann.
Good morning. Doris McIntosh from St Vincent and the Grenadines.
Top of the morning, Doris. Top of the morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay, go
Hello.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Rene Baptiste from St Vincent and the Grenadines.
Good
Hi,
morning,
Rene.
Former member
see you.
of Dr. Gonzalez's cabinet of 2001 to 2010.
Okay. Good. Come on, ladies. We
Great
have more
to listen
ladies.
to me, man. We send so much love for Ralph today.
As soon as you unmute your mic, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Bridget Adams. Greetings from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm here to support all my friends and relatives in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Marva, Doris, wonderful initiative.
Here. TT in the house. As you unmute the mic, you can introduce yourself. And then we can go straight into the discussion. After all of you have been introduced, you want to lead it off, Marva?
Actually, Flavius, I really want to thank you for giving us this really marvelous opportunity to promote AFNA's fundraising efforts specifically for the netballers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have done two initiatives. One is to the general worldwide public on social media, and another one more specific to our netballers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this is what you are helping us to do today, because the INF is also helping to promote this initiative. Okay. We are a member of the INF. We are the biggest region in the International Netball Federation's 5 regions, and they are also partnering with us to promote this. So Flavius, you have given us a fantastic platform with your podcast. You know, they always say you come good friend better than pocket money, and you have proved to be such a good friend to me that I really want to say thank you, and I will turn it over to Doris. But when we saw what was happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I've had the pleasure of visiting that country just once, but as I said, the Prime Minister is my friend. And one of the last videos that Doris sent, you know, he was doing a tour of the country. And I'm saying, God cover this leader at this time, because it is such an awesome responsibility and an extremely tragic situation that any support that we can give, 1 cocoa in Jamaica, full basket. I'm sure it's full basket in the Eastern Caribbean and the Americas region. And so Doris is hard at work managing a shelter. She has to be careful, take, self-care first and look after the rest afterwards. And any information and, any Doris can shed a bigger light. But for me, I'm just really deeply appreciative of the opportunity to do this on behalf of the Americas region.
Thank you.
So I'll turn it over to Doris and Rene.
Doris, Rene, you can go.
I would
over
really,
to you, Lady D.
Okay, I would really like to thank you, Marva, and the gentleman, the Real Stuff podcast.
Thank you.
For allowing us this opportunity to let you all know what is going on in our country and the help that our netballers really need. Now, they have about 350 players displaced and are in various shelters throughout St. Vincent, and also in private homes. Okay?
Yeah.
And quite a number of the netball playing fields have been, well, we can't say really destroyed, but they are covered with ash. And it will take some time, for us to get all that ash off the court. Even down to our Kingstown, the netball court in Kingstown, that too is covered with ash. And I would like to say as well that all the courts throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you consider Grenadines too, are covered with ash. But those in the north of the country, those are the ones that are really ash covered. Very thick ash. If you look at some of the pictures that, was seen on Facebook, all the other social media, you would understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it would take some time for the government and the people who live in those areas to get back there. The roads are impassable. When you saw Prime Minister the other day doing that tour, they had to clear some of the roads for him to reach as far as he did. It is really terrible up there. I am a deputy shelter manager at the Thomas Sanders Secondary School. And most of the people in the shelter, they would have come from Georgetown in the north, as well as Chateaubelair also in the north. We We have, but the only thing is that I don't have any netballers in my shelter. I really have, mostly elderly persons, a few young children, but mostly elderly persons. I have put a message in a chat, so that when the parliamentarians go around to visit the shelters, that they would collect for me the names of the netballers and in which shelter they are. Those in the red zone, we have not been able to access the amount of damage, right? And that I'm talking about the courts. But we can only, when we look at the pictures, we can only imagine what is happening. Because as I said to you, the roads are impassable up there. But those that we can see in the Georgetown area, and also people can go to Chateaubelair, but not beyond Chateaubelair. Although most of the people are evacuated from Chateaubelair and up. The courts there are still covered with ash. Okay? So in order for us to get the permission, I've seen something coming out from NEMO. That's the organization tasked with overseeing the evacuation and the taking care of the people and so on. We have to get permission from them to go up into the zones.
Okay.
Into those red zones. Okay. And the immediate needs for these ladies are clothing and toiletries. They are in shelters, they're getting food. But those who are in the private homes, it's a little bit difficult for them. They're promising to give them, service. But so far, I've gotten a little bit of feedback from those in the private homes that they are still awaiting. Okay?
Okay.
Some of them are traumatized. They're traumatized. And as an executive, we have spoken about them being traumatized and about looking after their psychological, physical well-being. The netballers that are displaced are from all levels of netball. So you have from those from the primary, the secondary, tertiary, the clubs, those when we do the constituency tournaments, we have all those teams, all those people, and in those areas, they usually run their own tournaments. So some may not necessarily come to our tournament, but they all play netball. And we really, really have to look and see what we can do for them. They need our help.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rene, you want to go next?
Thank you so much. And I do endorse what our president has already informed you about. It is going to be a very long road to recovery because the schools are the shelters. Almost all the schools in the south, what we call the southern zone, they are the shelters because the northern zones are covered in ash. And when I say covered in ash, Doris was being quite level. There are some areas, as we say, north of the Dry River, it is in excess of 10 to 12 feet of ash.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It's a lot. The agriculture has been decimated. And that's where we get our tomatoes, lettuce, dasheen,
coconut, bananas, plantain,
But if you arrive by plane coming from Barbados, what you would see is that Argyle looks green since the rains have fallen. So you would not necessarily see that much ash because we've had 2 good showers of rain. Water is less of a problem than a week ago because the Majorca has been brought back online. That is the huge reservoirs. But where I live in Kingstown, and where the shelter Doris is talking about is in Kingstown, we continue to get water, and we have imported water coming in from Trinidad and Martinique. Also some coming from Dominica. They're sending quite a good bit of water. The first arrival was from Trinidad, and then subsequent to that, you had yachts and boats and barges coming in with water and water tanks, huge tanks, because it's schools. And schools are not designed as shelters. They design their schools.
Yes,
so some absolutely. Do not have the showers and things like that to provide the sort of privacy they need. But the one way Doris says that is very well run, very well managed. I have had the opportunity to visit a few others, but the needs are going to be ongoing. While NEMO, which is the government agency charged with disaster management and relief, they're getting also a lot of supplies and sending it out in bulk to some of the centers, and government has opened the hospitality institute so they can turn out 3,000 meals a day. They are able to ramp up the meals, and a number of our young lady entrepreneurs who are caterers, event planners, they have themselves been supplementing and also, adopting a shelter and say they will work with them to help to provide meals. So in the shelters, it's not so much an issue to get meals, but they have issues with other supplies. I don't know yet if the mats and mattresses have been completely distributed, but people were asking for mats and sheets, pillows, because they ran, shoes. The ladies are now getting what we call dignity kits. The British High Commission has made some dignity kits available for distribution, and UN Women, they have also made, I think they have about 2,000 coming for distribution. They started with about 500 at the weekend. But when you consider that it's about 16,000 to 20,000 persons displaced, and in shelters, you're getting close now to 10,000. It was about 8,000, most recent statistics I saw. Persons in homes, they really need assistance, because some of the persons who open their homes, the homes are not very big, but friend tell another friend tell another friend. So you have a family that was originally 6 or 8 people and now 29 people. So they have to be provided for. And another organization that I belong to, we've been focusing on the families, because we realize that supplies will go straight to these shelters quite quickly. And as Doris said, I'm not surprised it's 350 players and young people. And with no school keeping, you still have to try to give them some semblance of order during the course of the day. I went to visit one of the shelters in the city where people are coming from the Northeast. And the shelter manager is the principal of the school. So she has regulated it, saying, school starts at 9 o'clock, and she tries to get her helpers to assist. But we are in need of supplies for these young people. You run and you leave your clothing. So you're sort of washing the T-shirt, washing what you're sleeping, and the dignity of having to be in somebody's home or somebody's, the shelter is not what people of that age, because the population is, I think Doris, you'd agree with me, there's a lot of young people now who have been displaced.
Yes.
The older people are trying to cope. And I met a hardy lady. She had to be in her late 70s, and she goes down to the affected area 3 times a week to look after her animals. She said she brought them in to underneath her house so she can go and feed them and collect feed and so on. And I think that's their coping mechanism that they try to have. But the younger people, as Doris said, the reports we are now getting after week 1 and going into week 2 and week 3, they are in fact traumatized, because every time they look at the pictures and you see drone footage, some can actually recognize their homes. If I'm an adult living in the city, which is the green zone, and when the big ashfall fell, I looked out my window. There was no semblance of a red roof, a blue roof, or a green roof. Everything was green. I look at my neighbor and right next door outside my patio, it used to be a green roof. So if you know that, and I experienced 79, and I was involved in 79 in helping to do relief. And this is 10 times worse.
10 times
You know,
worse.
Rene, Flavius,
Marva, if I can come in 1 minute, this is Franco. I have on the line
Hi,
with
Franco.
me also. How you doing? I have on the line with us and another member from our team, Teddy Laidley.
Yeah.
And hi, Teddy. Because I want to say something. I am great, Teddy.
Hello?
How are you?
Well, it's good to hear your voice again, Marva.
Even under these circumstances, eh? But hope springs eternal. Yeah. I want to say something.
Go ahead, Marva.
Listening to Rene and Doris, let me say this now. The Americas Federation is going to donate $3,000 to the St Vincent and the Grenadines Netball Association to assist the netballers. There are some individual board colleagues of mine from the INF who want to do something specific for the netballers. And I was making notes while Rene and Doris spoke because I can go back to them with this. Something crossed my mind when Rene spoke about the trauma. And I know that the class of 69 that Ralph, let me call him, Honorable Prime Minister Gonzalez, is a member of. When we wrote him yesterday, we asked him what it is that he think we could do. Well, Rene, you've given us some ideas. You mentioned bed linen. We may do money because I think that I don't know if flights are coming in or not. So that could be a challenge, but we are going to definitely do something. I think they're going to do it for netball because that's usually what they do is anytime we give, they channel it towards the sport that I serve. So we will determine how we are going to help. But another thought crossed my mind. People might not have cash to give, but they may have kind. And listening to the fact that trauma, which we always sometimes overlook, I'm going to commit to finding some friends who do counseling. And if I will go and beg them to counsel one netballer. If I can find, I do have people who do this kind of thing. They may be psychiatrists, they may be psychologists, they may not be able to take on large scale clients, but one cocoa going full basket. So I'm going to personally guarantee that I will find somebody to counsel one netballer. I will start with one and then I'll beg as many of my friends who do this and see how many I can get. But with respect to the cash donation that AFNA is going to give, we are putting in some controls with the treasurer of AFNA, who also happens to be the treasurer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Netball Association, because we are an accountable organization to our members. So we shall be putting in certain controls to ensure that Doris and Jacinta and myself and what we do with the funds we receive and we distribute can stand scrutiny by our auditors, because the funds are going to be put into the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Netball Association for the netball specific contributions. We did make an appeal to the wider social media world for people who want to donate into the government's bank account that we got from Doris. But when I took it to the board of the INF, they wanted to ensure that we were doing something netball specific. So this is why we also have another donation point, which is to help the netballers. So one coca, and I urge the people in the other countries in the Americas netball, which is the Canada, USA, and the Caribbean, if they have anybody who could do counseling to to volunteer to counsel one netballer, that would also help. So that thought came into my heart a while ago, and before it disappears out of my head where it went after it left my heart, let me throw it out now. Because you know how things can disappear out of your head. And forget it and write it down, find a counselor who will take one girl by WhatsApp, counselor by WhatsApp.
Who want to go next? Teddy, any input?
No, I'm just listening because I know the first speaker, I didn't get her name. When she talk about the trauma, I think it's something that no matter how much counseling you get, it kind of lingers in the heart when you wake up and you see, especially if you're in a particular age group and you work and make all the sacrifice and, you see your work come crashing down and you have to be living, in a center. It's not something mentally a lot of persons can deal with. And that's why I know when we have hurricane, people rather stay home and batter out the storm rather than going to a center. No matter how much you tell them, it's dangerous, to remain. Sometimes persons are in low-lying areas. And you said, flood water, they're willing to go down with the flood water rather than, to go at a center. So I know how traumatic it is for persons, especially, as I said, you're retired and you're enjoying your space and you do things in a particular way. And so it annoys you when you're in a communal and people display certain behavior and certain attitude, and then you can't do anything about it. Issues like those. Just hearing this lady who go and look after her animal because of her whole compassion towards, that's one of the things that she look forward to every day.
Yeah.
Caring for her animal and knowing that she's not able to get up and readily go out and see them. And she's willing to make the sacrifice to leave the center, to go there, to make sure that the animal, are taken care of. Things like those. So it is something, the situation that appears is a dark cloud, and it take a little while for a dark cloud to move over your life.
That's true. For our viewers this morning on the West Coast, there's a drop-off area for you. There's 3 drop-off spots, and they're asking for personal care items, non-perishable food items, and miscellaneous items. And the miscellaneous items are clothing, toilet paper, toilet tissue, rags, towels, flashlight, masks, sleeping bags, blankets, sheets, books.
All right. One other thing I like to suggest for persons who want to make donation, because you see, one thing that we forgot, we are living in a technological age, especially like here in Jamaica. I don't know how up the commerce is in St Vincent, where persons can pay for stuff. So instead of they trying to gather these stuff and then, getting it all off and it get caught up in the web of the whole distribution, persons can pay online. I think what I can do, or what we can do, is to find out, like here in Jamaica, where toiletries and things can be paid online. For example, since COVID, a lot of persons, in terms of their relative in Jamaica, pay the bill at the supermarket and it being delivered to them, so they don't have to leave house. So what I'm saying,
very good.
Some of the things that is needed, they can pay for it online and it being delivered. So instead of trying to go to the store and buy it and then drop it off at the distribution center, and then it get caught up in the web of coming into whether Jamaica or St. Vincent, I'm just suggesting.
Okay.
If the commerce is not up in St. Vincent, and so, for example, Jamaica as a means of a distribution point, so it leads from Jamaica to St. Vincent by sea rather than by here, because there might not be air traffic taking place at the moment. So what we can do is, like, for example, some parts and certain large distributor, whether it's Mega Mart, Price Mart, all those people, if we can get where people can pay, because these places that I suggest have things in bulk item.
Okay.
And so what we could do, yes, Marva, you see what I'm saying, Marva? So it's safer in Jamaica.
Good. People that run some parts are my friends. Okay, I'm in very, very good.
Right, so we can do it. We can do it that way. So,
let me ask him. I'll ask him today.
Right. Yeah. So what we ask is, how do you pay from online? And so people pay that way. They get their receipt, and then at least we have somebody on the ground to coordinate that. 20 bag of sugar. The same thing. Being paid for, and somebody pick it up from there. And take it rather than taking it the drop-off center and then to get it coordinated, and then when it coming into the country, because the whole tax and custom, too much modeling right there.
All right. Well, this is for the people that in LA, the Garifuna Nation have drop-off points. Yeah. And the drop-off points are Auntie May and Kim Party Supplies, Blessed Love. All of these places are open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the drops, drop-off stop until...
what we're saying is Franco, yes, it is good that people are dropping off. What we're saying here now is the coordination and logistics of moving it.
Oh, yes. Nothing is wrong with that.
From that drop-off point.
Nothing is wrong with that. But these people are asking...
If it's not coordinated properly, then all of those drop-off might be just staying there, and nobody, but nobody tell me
this is different. This is different. This is sponsored by the Garifuna Nation. So, and... Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, and the United States. So it's something that they're doing.
Just to say, the airport is open.
Great.
Flights are coming in, because we only the big airport here was closed. The smaller airports, because they're in the south, in the Grenadines, they were not closed. They had limited traffic to move back and forth to the island. So people were like going to Barbados and going to Canawan and to Mustique, because those small aircraft were landing there. But the main airport opened on Saturday. I mean, it looked like it was a snowfall, but they got it clean very quickly, because we have to try to get back to some normals,
Absolutely.
And secondly, in relation to the ports are the Camden Park port and the port in Kingstown. The port in Kingstown is slightly congested, but there is no duty or VAT or importation charge. Cabinet passed that since about 2 days after the eruption. Good. Coming to charitable organizations, you put the name of the charitable organization, and you go to the port. You have your manifest and your document, and customs just want to make sure that stuff people send are not just dumping it, like expired sausages and expired corned beef and that sort of thing. So customs will do what you call a spot check to make sure they're not dumping stuff on us.
I'm very encouraged by that suggestion. Who made that suggestion about the paying for it here? Because I'm going to call Ian Kelly as I hang up from this
Teddy made that suggestion. Teddy made that suggestion.
Teddy, I want to thank you. I owe you a lunch. Teddy? No, honestly, because guess what?
Marva, the last time we were together, you didn't pay for the lunch.
You sure you didn't? I didn't do that because you said you would pay for it. I think that's how it went. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So that's why you know you pay. You owe me.
Teddy, I sit down here and I said, oh my God. Yes, because the class of 69 really wants to do something, as we said to Gonzi, right? Rene, forgive me because that's what I call him, right? And I'm in front of him to the HPN. We call him Gonzi. We call him Gonzi. I will send something that Sonia sent to show me to you when I'm finished the podcast. But honestly, I'm going to speak to Ian Kelly from Sampars and see if they would do something. Rene, you and I now will definitely see if this is possible from this end. I can get the money from the class of 69 and we'll see what we can do with getting something, because I'm happy to hear that the airport is now open. I have a colleague on the governance committee, Pat Parkins, who is very good at these kind of charity stuff. And I know she will jump out now on social media to gather the stuff for the netballers and see how she can get them to St. Vincent. This is good stuff coming here this morning. I am really excited to get cracking as soon as I'm finished here. Because we can make a difference.
Marva, isn't Sampar being owned by what's the new company now that own it? That is
own what?
The new company, Sampars. They are now international.
Derek Cockrell and
distributor.
Ian Kelly. Yeah, Ian Kelly. Ian Kelly is my personal friend, and I know Cockrell, so getting to them is very easy. As soon as I hang up here, I'll call Ian.
Yeah, what happens is that they know. No, they open a store in New York.
Grace, oh yes.
Yeah, they open a store
by Boise. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay,
I just want you to know.
In New York.
Yeah, the store, they open a store because they now have majority share in, I can't remember, it started D, like Demoran or something like that.
I know about that.
And they open a store, right. They open a store in New York. So for our Jamaican or our St. Vincent persons who want to make contribution can go to the store, pay for the stuff there, and then it will be easily being distributed here in Jamaica. So for those persons in that kind of diaspora.
This is good stuff.
Yes, Caribbean people, wherever you are, New York.
In relation to
New York.
behavior, one of the, I think this was the lady who was at the main hospital, she's a counselor, and this morning she's gone to a meeting because I think they asked the counselors to come to a meeting, so I was assisting her with some paperwork. But just to say that some teachers, I hats off to them in arranging the centers. They arranged a little center for, depending on the age of the children, and so they have a little movie night, and they brought up the horses from down at Chateaubalais. So the children who never ride a horse, and they're like, now riding a horse. They're trying to get them into a pattern to take their minds off of the pictures, because they see the pictures like everybody else.
Wonderful.
And they had a karaoke concert, I think was Friday night. And this poor lady who was an evacuee got up to go and sing, and she died. They could imagine what's that trauma on top of trauma, And a couple of people who ran without their medication, and even though the medics have been going around asking people what you need and the shelters, of course, some people ran without it, didn't say anything, and of course, being without your medication for 8-9 days, and you are really hypertensive. We've had, I think, 2 of them passed away, and 2 persons who were doing dialysis went into renal failure. So that and this, they ran, no problem, no deaths, even though you had traffic jam, and you tell people use the bypass road, because we had a dry run not too long ago before Soufriere acted up. One Sunday, we just met these people out on the road. They said, this is a dry run in case Soufriere erupt. You have to know the back roads to use the back roads.
Oh, okay.
But we forget nearly 30,000 people have cars. So you know what happened on the night. Traffic jam. But nobody died.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Yeah.
But this is ongoing. It's a real ongoing battle. Some of the responses from the First World are very encouraging, some not so encouraging. We expect that, I think the United Nations launched an appeal. The Prime Minister said 29 million. I think he was being very conservative, but he had his finance team out with him. So I expect before the end of this week, he would have more information, because CDB has had the meeting last week with the finance people. So we expect to hear something, but the decimation in the agricultural belt, makes your heart ache. And the fishers, of course, they went out, but the amount of dust that is ending up in the coastal area and the coastal zones where these guys were going fish, the fishermen reported that the waters are still a little dark and murky. They were not catching anything up to last week. I haven't heard yet over the weekend what has happened, So they're going to be a little time, and the coast has changed and down to the western side because of the pyroclastic flows that came down, changed the coastline, and place looks like a ghost place. When you see it by drone, you just can't. You almost had, oh yeah, that was Larakai. Oh yeah, that's Wallabu. If you see what was the Wallabu River, can't believe it. Cannot believe it. When you see the boulders coming down Rabaca on the other side, huge boulders, and with the bridges that are made to cross the streams, they just come down, boom, and they're stuck under there. They can't move. To hear those boulders must have been terrifying, hearing them coming out of Soufriere. So we hope it has been quiet now for more than 48, 72 hours. No spewing. Last spewing was Thursday. We had 2 on Thursday. So we're hoping it holds. And if the Prime Minister is on mornings on NBC radio, so NBC online from about 8 to take reports and to talk with the population. Anybody can call in, but principally to get the water authority and the electricity company, if there's anything to report with him online on the radio, and also with Professor Robinson, who has been doing an excellent job, really excellent job, along with the team from UWI Seismic Research Center in Trinidad. Thank God that foresight to set up that center. The work they've been doing is inestimable, invaluable to us. It has really saved lives, I can tell you, saved a lot of lives.
Well, I'm glad to know that we are not too heavily dependent on our friend up north in terms of that kind of technology, that we are able to, as you said, to put things in place. The Caribbean itself showing that we are able to sustain and take on our issues. Because the good thing about the Caribbean, I think, because we are always on the earthquake and the hurricane belt, when it comes on to the whole disaster preparedness, we are doing well in terms of coordination, in terms of logistics. The Caribbean certainly have done well. And I'm happy to know...
SVGNA has been doing excellent work as well.
Yeah,
and like I said, the response from Trinidad made the Prime Minister, he cried openly. He didn't care who saw him crying. And
I saw a clip of that.
Trinidad has
and it's good.
And Guyana.
I'm glad to know the neighbors, right?
Jamaica is sending. I sent Doris a picture of the latest thing in the newspaper that they're sending down. So we're all rallying.
Okay. Yep. It's
really
all rallying.
Yeah,
I was wondering who was going to say that.
And of course, we have to cope with COVID.
Ask a big question?
Ask a question, Flavors. Go ahead.
The big question for me now is, when will the cleanup start? Is planning going on now for the cleanup? Because that's going to be the biggest.
That's why you're seeing me here,
biggest task.
The cleanup has already started, and that's why the airport is open. If you don't clean up, I don't know if you saw the pictures from the airport. It looked like a field of snow. And the airport has been cleaned up. The city at first looked gray and dull, and now it's not gray and dull anymore. The courts are back and open from today. Of course, we still have been shift work because of COVID. Court hearings are mostly by remote platforms, family court, and a lot of us just came down and opened and cleaned our offices. The president of family court was there cleaning with her staff. We look at this is, we're in this together. This ain't waiting until the office attendant come with the broom and the mop. We start moving. So in the city and a little outside of the city, the cleanup has already begun. But where it has really impacted in the Northeast and the Northwest, that will take some time. A few persons went back, got permission to go back to take the weight of the sand, the weight of the ash from their house roofs because they don't want it to collapse with the weight of it. But it is going to be a very long haul. We need a lot more equipment. Also, UN environmental people have been here so that you have to test, and we're waiting on Dr. Robertson's team to say what is in this ash. Because while CAFRA has sent sort of notification of make sure you wear your mask. So we have I think the people in Canada got some manufacturer to give them 1 million masks and for people to continue to wear the mask. Even though I'm in this office here, ash will get in any which way it could. In the evening, we could feel it on the desk. So it's still there. It's in our gardens in the south. So you can imagine up in the north, it's really, really thick. So the moving of stuff in the north is really bulldozing, trying to make a way so that the assessors can go. Because I don't know if you saw 2 weeks ago, the pyroclastic flow that came down had boulders, according to Dr. Robertson. That thing is hot. It's coming out at 800 degrees centigrade. So it looks like it was a boiling lake, the Arabica River. So we have to also be very cautious because as he says, and we have read it for ourselves, there are 45 volcanoes erupting around the earth, but Sufra is the most unpredictable. So it may go quiet because it did that. It went quiet for 48 hours and then boom. It's been quiet now since Thursday. And he said it should lose energy and so on. But works of nature, one not to show. So we think in the first instance, people are going to be in shelters for at least 6 weeks. At least 6 weeks, because they're checking on their homes to see what sort of damage and so on before they can go back out there. There was a lot of business, People, it's...
Will the state assist persons in terms of the home like that? Because that is more than... I'm not looking at it because it's natural disaster.
Yes, sir, that is a customary provision in our budget because we are exposed to hurricanes. So most people, it was there for hurricane and flash flooding that the state always assists. Always. People like to build a home near to a river. In some cases, there ain't no river now because ash is down in there. And the state always makes provision to assist people for the rebuilding of their homes. So that is always on the list.
Okay, well, that
now, of course, the quantities are, multiplied.
Yes, right. Oh, it's just hearing from you and actually seeing it. As I said, see me, I can live with me, it's two different things, because you're living there.
It's not the easiest, The dust is...
No, it shouldn't be. It should not be. Just like you, I just imagine those boulders stuck underneath the bridge or those boulders coming down and inside a house or on top of the roof. That's not a good sign.
Nope, it is not.
So, Miss Rene, how are you coping? How is your
I
mental
live in the
health?
city. I live in the city. Most of my staff, 2 of them live in the red zone, and the others live just on the edge coming in, and who 1 or 2 have sinus problems. So, that's not easy, but we had to be wearing masks because of COVID. So we did our major cleaning last week, Monday and Tuesday, but every day, this is ash, every day. We had the air-conditioned people come in, change filters, do whatever, because they say they're supposed to have some special filter they put in since COVID because of whatever, the air circulating and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So they came and they did their work. At home, I had to clean mine 3 times because I live where the breeze is blowing. So everything off of every tree. Boom.
What is the estimate of the agricultural damage? Cattle, crop? Any estimate yet as to?
Something that was very strange. In 79, a week or so before the eruption, we noticed in the city strange birds. We saw these birds. In the northeast, I have a colleague at the bar. He has a farm, and he said, to his surprise, he looked up and he saw 2 parrots. Now, these things they don't stay around for you to really actually see them. You have to say, oh my gosh, look, a parrot. And they talk a lot. They squawk, you hear them. And these 2 parrots are sitting on the branches and they're not speaking. So you understand the trauma. And in the wildlife, we have lost wildlife. We have lost wildlife. So
it's like here in Jamaica.
Forestry has been out for 2 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah. But cattle, they've lost some cattle. When they went back about maybe 4 days after the eruption, before the second part, the dogs, they had to feed the dogs. And one strange thing, people had left one of the particular little entrances to a village, and every dog was out waiting. Like if you say, come here, I'll eat you alive, They were there. And it was something to see the Coast Guard rescuing the dogs, swimming and coming to the boat. And
I would love to see that video.
Yeah, the Coast Guard has it. They're on, a lot of them are online. There is a young man there's a group of what I call adventurers that go in the bush. So they have on their site, it's SVG ecotourism.
Okay.
They have on their sites pictures they were taken 6-7 weeks ago before Soufriere erupted. And now you can see the before and after.
Wow.
It's so look at that site. And he has some on his personal site. His name is Paul Cyrus. You can go on there and also see. The rivers, the riverbed has increased in height. And it's about, he said, from walking from there to the road up to Soufriere used to take you about 15 minutes. Now you can do it in 6 because the riverbed.
Upward rise.
So you can check those 2 sites. You will get some good viewership, as well as the Darren Andrews. He took pictures, and Nicholas Stevens. They took drone photos of the city. So you can see how the city was covered and the difference now that it's been washed down.
That's
devastating. Will give you an idea.
That's like a hurricane passed through.
Hurricane? No, everybody was saying after, give me a hurricane. I said, no, don't say that, please. So we can't do a little hurricane on the coconut trees. You cannot believe seeing coconut trees like this.
Yeah, I saw that picture, those pictures. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Anyone else want to talk? We got more ladies in the room this morning. Trinidad.
I know, Sherry-Ann here.
Okay, Sherry-Ann.
Rene M. We really empathize with what is happening in St Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm listening and I'm thinking, how can we be of support? And I want to say almost immediately, socially, with the 350 girls that are displaced, netballers, we want to say at least 50 of the girls you can direct to us, probably between ages of 18 and 30, where we can ask our national players to make a friend through this initiative. We will engage them, have them talk to them, and, continuously reach out as a netball friend to them. We would also try to provide support through talking to psychologists. So immediately I can say at least 2, but I'll let you all know how many persons we can direct to them so that, and if we get more psychologist support, we will make that known to you as well. But immediately at 50 girls, you can say, listen, some friends in netball, friends in Trinidad care about you. We are concerned about you. We want to be there for you to help you through this. We stand on standby to do that. We're ready to receive them. So just direct them and we'll help provide support socially in that area.
I have a friend who loves to say ideas have legs. You see what I'm talking about? Ideas have legs.
Yes. That's a new one for me, ideas have legs.
Yes, they have legs. Because I want to thank Sherry-Ann for that, because I didn't think of the 50 girls. Maybe we see where we can get a 50-girl project going. But this psychologist thing is so key. I know people's businesses are not as profitable as they are, but if it can get one person to mentor one girl, we would have been making a difference. Thanks, Sherry-Ann. And I like that idea about making a friend. Pen pal. Remember the days of pen pal? It's not pen pal anymore. It was what? WhatsApp pal? Pen pal dates, but that's okay.
I want to thank her very much too, because I think that would probably take some of the stress, release some of the stress, some of the boredom from the girls in the camp, in the shelters.
Absolutely true.
See if I can get it working across the world. I'll ask my friends in New Zealand and, especially my girlfriend in New Zealand who is very into netball and wants to help this region. If we could find a girl in one of these countries, England, who knows, I'll get on. You guys can plenty to work, but I'm excited about this kind of work. I'm going to ask my colleagues around the board. Colleague, make a friend.
Yep.
We find a nice, maybe I'll do a flyer. Maybe I'll get Sean to do a flyer to say, make a friend, make a wish, make a friend.
That's
Make a friend in St Vincent and the Grenadines. My brain's acting overtime now.
Yeah, bring it on.
Why are you laughing? Who laughing at me? Who laughing at me?
Very good. That is very good.
Who laughing at me?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Ideas have legs.
Lisa, some of your little children in St. Martin may want to make a friend in St. Vincent. I like this. Get them to make friends. This is what sport is about. Great. Flavius, this thing is even becoming more successful than I thought it was going to be when we started.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I came in with an open mind, and I'm telling you, more work on the plate, but this is good stuff. This is really good stuff.
They always say that when you have a disaster and you're building back, you must try and build back better. And this suggestion is a starting point to build back better. So the Caribbean people know each other better if we have this friend thing going. I think it's brilliant.
I'm going to stay in the Caribbean and I'm going to the wider Americas.
I like the idea.
Yeah, the world.
I like the idea of the movie night.
New Zealand. Make a friend from New Zealand.
The movie night for the children. I love that idea, Rene. That's wonderful for the children, because...
As I come off this phone call, I'm going to go to... Yeah, man, let them make a friend.
Let me ask
WhatsApp.
Can I say in in the shelter that I'm in, well, that I work with, they're sewing, they're teaching ladies to make cushions, pillows, and so on.
Okay.
And just like what our patron said, that's Miss Baptiste, she's our patron. There's, people would go in, people volunteer. There's right next to the school, there's a football field, and the gentleman there would take the young boys to play football. You'll have them right when I left this morning, because I went to the shelter, to the center. Before coming back home, the children are in school. They have some young ones in there, and across the street from us, there is a place called Vinsave. It used to be Can Save long ago. I'm sure every country had a Can Save in it. Canadian Save the Children Fund, that is what it was. And they would have taken the bigger children over to their building to have school, because every minute, a board, or you will find them on the tablets playing, games and so on. So the principal, Mr. Renton, who is the chief shelter manager, he wants to see the children, doing something gainfully in terms of their education, because they have been out of school for quite some time due to the COVID situation. They've been out. Some, when the teachers go online, if there are 20 or 30 children, you might only find 6 coming online and so on. So he wants those that are in the shelter to make sure that they get back to do some sort of learning, some sort of school work, so that when school do reopen, they'll just get back into their classrooms and do what they have to do. But we also in that shelter, we have karaoke and all those things. Also, in the shelter, when the people came in the very night, we had a baby that was 18 days old. If you see the little thing, 18 days old. And we have 42 children on the camp, 22 boys and 20 girls, so plus the elderly persons that we have and so on. We have 1 or 2 persons who would go to work and come back, like the prison officer, the security guard, and persons like those persons who work with the elderly. They would send them to other shelters to assist with, taking care of the elderly and so on. So
great, that's wonderful. At least the young and the old are being taken care of. That's excellent. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Thumbs up to all of you for the work that you're doing. It's a disaster in a pandemic, and I know it's not easy.
It's not. And the thing is, I would have to stand next to the lunchroom where they prepare the meals. Mm-hmm. And when the children come, go right back upstairs. No dinner, no lunch until you put that mask on. You have to keep telling them.
True.
Yes. But all in all, they're trying to cope. Mm-hmm. We would say to them, when we usually have, every Monday morning, we would have the leaders of the rooms, or the head of the rooms, would have meetings with them, and discuss, their grievances, if there is any, what they would like, what they would need, and so on. And but we couldn't have one today because I wasn't there. And Mr. Renton, the shelter manager, the chief shelter manager, is also on a Zoom meeting dealing with Nemo and so on. So we'll probably put it tomorrow. But we have we have to listen to them. We would say to them, you're not at home. You have to make the best of it. We try to make them comfortable. Those we put the older folks on the mattresses, the gentlemen on the cots and things like that. And each family, we place a family in a classroom. So they're not mixed. Every family that came, they're in a classroom. So, but some of them, you have 11 of them. But you have some little head children. So those would be in a room and divided themselves. And so in one section, however, we have the single males, those people who didn't come with anybody. So we try to place them together. Our camp should have been holding 75 persons. We are now up to 116 persons. You see? Because some people went into private homes when they came, but afterwards they would come into the shelter. But we really can't take anymore, because of the COVID situation. We can't take anymore.
How do you stay for food? How is that going?
Nemo provides food. Yeah, well, the bulk of stuff, as the patron said, they would send in to us the water, the flour, the rice, and whatever. We'd have to send a list to them for every 2 days, and they would send to us. We get chicken, fish. We got some fish. I don't know how they managed to get these fish, but we got fish because there are also diabetics and the camp and those persons with hypertension. So we have to cater for them. However, I'm not sure if I'm calling it right, but I think it's the something central kitchen. Those people came into St. Vincent and they have set up their operations in Diamond, and that's where the technical college where they would teach to do, the cookery, the whatever. And they're using there to do the food. So they will bring, our shelter is one of those that they supply meals, they supply midday and for dinner. They will bring a nice little sandwich for dinner, but you'll get something heavy. Plus they would bring juice and water. So, we are okay in terms of lunch and dinner. And well, we do our own breakfast in the mornings because we have somebody in the shelter who used to be a chef. So she is responsible for the kitchen, and we have set up rosters where each room you will work today in the kitchen and assisting the lady. Also, each room is responsible one day for taking bringing out the garbage downstairs where it can be collected by the sanitation department. You have to clean that area. And also, we have a team as well from each room every day, from on the different days to clean the bathrooms. So, and it works well. It has been working, and we'll have to monitor it from time to time. But we're getting there. And also, we have people who would volunteer. They would bring snacks for the children, sometimes. And what we do, we have decided to get each person's birthday. And I know last Monday, a little boy was 4.
Wow.
And we did I call it my friend, and she did a cake with his name on it and so on, So they want to do that for, everybody in the shelter. But what I think they would do though is like do it weekly, because if everybody got about the every day, So we're gonna do those who have in this 2 weeks, you haven't, get a nice big cake and mark everybody's name on it and, organize. And we want to make them feel comfortable at home, although it's, it's not really the best, but they're coping.
Miss Rene, I have a question. Somebody's text me to ask you. Are you guys accepting professional help from outside? Professional helps like Doctors Without Borders, etc. Unmute your mic, please. Unmute your mic. Okay.
The help that we have accepted so far, I know it's from Trinidad, that they have assisted us with some extra security, because you have to move a lot of goods and you have to do rotation of persons in the red zone. So that make sure that people don't go after animals or try to break in houses. Of course, they try and they throw them in jail. So you get a perfect example. But with the Doctors Without Borders, I'll have to check the Ministry of Health or the Medical Association, because what the doctors have done, we have quite a few doctors. What they've done, if you're working at the hospital, you come in early, do your hospital work, and head out to where you live and near to the clinics where you live and assist at either the clinic or the shelters. Okay. So, and they haven't seen the people in the shelters, they would make a list of the sort of medication. Like I said, people left their medication, and so they're able to work with the shelters and also with the clinics in the areas where they live. That is as far as the information I got up to last Friday, but I can find out about Doctors Without Borders, okay?
Okay.
Or that kind of help.
Yeah.
I know that SEDIMA, of course, has sent persons to assist with logistics, particularly with the set of stores that we are getting in. Mm-hmm. And the Cadet Corps, they just had an additional beefing up of their training in dealing with the storage and transportation of the goods, how you pack them. There's a way to do these things. Mm-hmm. And the Cadet Corps have been working with SEDIMA and transport and logistics. The police continue with security and with the help from Trinidad, because they sent up not just a big boat, but a smaller cutter light where the officers they sleep there, come off, go and do duty and come back on. And so we have had doctors coming in from Cuba to supplement. We've had doctors coming in from Cuba to supplement the brigade that is here now in St Vincent in addition. But I haven't heard an appeal asking for doctors. I know one of the cruise ships have offered to give assistance to Nemo to help with logistics, because the port is now really crowded with stuff. I mean, people are sending stuff like it's going out. I mean, we have a lot of materials coming in.
Raindrops, it's showing in like rain.
And especially the Prime Minister said, people are asking, could our relatives send barrel, Mm-hmm. And at first he was thinking maybe not, it's better to send money. And of course he had to relent, because people feel you have to give the person on the other side of the phone some sort of buy-in that they have something to, it is the relatives they want to be seen to be helping. Mm-hmm. So the barrels and the boxes and so on have started to arrive as well. But with the medical help, I know that Cuba has sent some assistance, but I can find out from Ministry of Health and Medical Association if they need extra assistance and support in the medical services. Having to move the new hospital, the diagnostic center that's built in Georgetown, no damage. It stood up well to the test, but of course you have no water, and they can't use the water out there for the dialysis and the chemotherapy in the area, but it's in the red zone, so you can't stay there. So they move the patients down to the main hospital and to the polyclinics. Okay. At this time, but I can find out, because I can be in touch with the CMO within an hour.
All right, that's good. Thank you very much, Ms. Baptiste. Any more? Anyone else want to say something before we get out of here? Marva?
Yes. Okay. I get the last word.
Not necessarily.
Well,
you are the chair, actually. You're the chair.
Okay. I'm not the chair. I'm just the chair. This is just really, these are the things that get my adrenaline going. Mm-hmm. And this morning has been a really great experience for me. I see where I can continue to MAD, and I don't mean insane, make a difference, because listening to Rene and Doris, well, I kind of knew what was going on, some of what was going on from, keeping close to Doris during this tragedy. And then I saw Gonz's video. But, to get the ideas that Sherry-Ann suggested, I really am going to jump on it. I'm going to call Ian Kelly as I hang up here from some parts to see the possibilities, because I was really pleased. I saw that thingy with Loshushan supermarket in Jamaica. People could buy, pay for this stuff, and the family pick it up. So I'm hoping that something like this can work out for for us in our initiative. I'm going to go to the INF, my board colleagues, to say to them, can we do a WhatsApp call? It's not pen anymore, so we can probably find a name. I'm going to go to my volunteer social media person, Sean Murdoch from Netball Jamaica, to see what flyers we can come up with to begin the WhatsApp drive. There's so many things I wrote down that now I'm going to get cracking with, but it's good get cracking with. It's good to get cracking with. I love the 50 persons, and I'm going to see how much more of my friends I can bring on this. Going to try and find some volunteer counselors. I think Sherry-Ann is going to do the same thing. So Rene, you and I will be new best friends on this initiative, because I hope you have the time to put up with me, because if my adrenaline flows, I could be a pest, but it's a good pest. My class of 69 wrote to Gonzi and asked him what we can do. Now I can tell them what we can do. So this makes it all worthwhile. Honestly, I had no idea it was going to end up with me getting more work, but it's good work, yeah? Because, getting the money into the bank is one thing, but getting people to come and help you to make a difference is know that I can find people. Oh, yes. I can get Ian to help me. I can get my class to help me, right? So, and I have one or two friends who used to help me with the Sunshine Girls in terms of their mental challenges, their support. I probably could even get some of the girls to be a part of the 50, still have a little control over them. So, and I know they know that I always want them to give back. So this is it. Doris, you have me. And all of this is just really, 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 really good. I promise you, Rene, you and I are going to become new best friends. And I have Jacinta messaging me to say, yeah, your adrenaline flowing, but it is a good reason for it to flow. And I really am definitely going to, I'm a woman of my words, so you can best believe that I'm going to do this. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So we will be working on this. I'll try and see how far my reach can go.
Go area, go.
But God bless and stay strong, Doris and Rene and the people in St. Vincent too. I know Natasha, and I know Jacinta, and I don't know who else I do. But whatever it is that we can do, and Doris, I have Jacinta who is very strict with the money. So whatever controls we are going to put in to ensure that Doris is accountable and you are accountable as the patron will be done. Because at the end of the day, the auditor is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he don't joke. I love that. He's very serious. And that's my discipline too. So you're muted, Rene. But thank you guys for coming on and supporting this venture this morning, this effort this morning. And Flavius, I guess I'm going to have to keep you in WhatsApp so that I can use you for things like this. It's free PR, right?
So Rene, any closing remarks?
First of all, let me compliment my dear sister Marva and her team for putting this together, and to thank you for providing the avenue for us to be able to speak directly to our sisters so they can get a feeling. It's okay reading newspaper reports and so on, but to get a feeling from Doris and myself as to what is happening on the ground. We are indeed so grateful for the outreach. We want to thank you for what you're going to propose to do. And we will certainly be working on this side to see that we can get the information to you, because sometimes when you don't have information, you can't work. And the work that you may do would not have the impact, the desirable impact. And we're very, very happy for this avenue, and hopefully that you'll be able to take it internationally, because we know this is going to be a rehabilitation and a recovery effort as well. In the first instance, you're trying to do relief, but there's going to be rehabilitation and recovery to follow. So thank you so much for this initiative. Thank you.
You're welcome. It will be international. It will be international. I guarantee you that. I will make it international.
Thank you.
All right. Is Doris there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, closing remarks from you, Doris, as well.
I just really want to thank you and Marva for this initiative. And I know with Marva pushing, we will get things going. We will get things flowing into St. Vincent. Rene has said it all, but I just really want to thank everybody who came on this morning, even though you didn't speak, but we know that you have supported us and you will continue to support us. So we look forward to whatever is there to come so that we can, give it to the young ladies, because some of them have already been messaging to say, I would like to have this, I would like to have that, but I really can't help them at this point unless we get some help from overseas. Okay, so thank you very much again for organizing this program, and God bless each and every one of us.
Likewise. And
thank you.
The offer is extended whenever you ladies feel free, you want to express yourself, make information available to other people in our podcast region. You're always welcome at no cost. It don't cost you a penny. It's just free. Everything is free. Flavius, may I call upon you, sir?
Yes. Yeah, I'm just want to thank the ladies for coming on the Real Stuff podcast this morning. I have enjoyed it immensely, and I think a lot of information was expressed. And just as Franco said a while ago, the Real Stuff podcast is your platform, so you can use it whenever there's a need. Just give us a call, and we can set it up. You have information to go out, anything like that. We are here and ready to support you in every way that we can. Either if you send it to us, and we will do that also for you.
Yeah. It's a Caribbean podcast, uniquely Caribbean. So everything we do is about the Caribbean. Before we get out of here, I want to thank all our viewers this morning in the chat room, those who have participated. Miss Audrey All is there, well-known singer. And Mikey Campbell from Canada. And Francine, for all those who participated and those who didn't, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and for spending time with us this morning. With all the ladies in the chat room this morning, thank you all for taking time out and for being here. And so I leave you with this song. And this song is going out to all our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent this morning. And it's from Tasha Williams, covered. Hope you guys, get all the relief that you need, all the help, all the support from your Caribbean brothers and sisters and the international community. And keep the faith. Don't lose hope of it. Keep the faith. Stay strong. Okay? One love.
Pray for us.
Yeah, one love. And we keep in our prayers as well.
When over me, shield and my defense. Cover me, cover me, cover me. Cover me, cover me, cover me, oh, cover me. There is a change coming. Don't you feel the wind blowing? I can feel the chill, evil on the rise. Will you take that pill or stand firm in its will? Your money, your name will not be able to help you. No, no, no. Fame or lame won't be able to save you. You got to be covered under the blood of the Almighty. You got to be covered